Before every deep transformation, there is an unusual season, a time when life feels empty, slow, and out of place. Many see this as punishment or abandonment, but in truth, it is sacred ground, where God works quietly. It is in silence that destinies are rearranged. While you feel like everything is slipping out of control, heaven is aligning details your eyes cannot yet see. If lately everything seems to be falling apart, this may not be the end of anything, but the clear sign that something greater is being formed. Few people understand this truth. Before God releases a blessing, He prepares the person who will carry it. He dismantles fragile structures, breaks plans that would not survive the future, and leads you through paths that feel confusing, but later prove to be necessary. True blessings rarely begin in comfort. They are born in chaos. Look at Joseph. Before ruling, he was betrayed, sold, and forgotten. What looked like loss was actually training. The pit was not punishment. It was the soil where purpose took root. What feels like an ending today may simply be God's way of starting something entirely new. What if your recent pain was not punishment, but rehearsal? What if your tears were shaping a version of you capable of carrying what your former self could not sustain? The question is, can you recognize the signs before the breakthrough arrives? There are silent proofs that always come before a divine shift. The first is a sudden increase in battles. Before the promise comes the fight. When heaven is about to move, pressure increases, doors close, and even faith feels tested. But what seems like attack is often preparation. God never sends anyone unprepared to a new level. It is in collapse that He separates casual belief from real trust. When nothing makes sense and you still choose faith, the miracle begins to form. The greater the calling, the deeper the process. David, Esther, Joseph, all endured long nights before living days of honor. If your life feels like a battlefield, it may be because what you carry is valuable. But God does not only change circumstances, He changes people. Trials do not come to destroy, they come to refine. Gold is revealed through fire. The second sign is unexpected separation. Before God adds something new, He removes what no longer belongs. People drift away, cycles end, conversations lose meaning. It hurts because the mind resists what the spirit already understands. Not everyone can walk with you into the next season. Some destinations only allow purpose inside. When God wants to protect you, He creates distance that feels like rejection, but is actually rescue. He removes before He replaces. Isolation is never wasted. Joseph was alone in prison. Moses was alone in the desert. Jesus was alone before the cross. The silence around you may not be absence, but preparation. The third sign is inner restlessness. Suddenly, what once satisfied no longer shines. Conversations feel shallow. Your heart longs for something you cannot yet name. This is not a crisis. It is awakening. God is adjusting your sensitivity, calling you deeper. You feel drawn to pray more, to be still more, to seek less distraction. Outwardly, nothing seems different. Inwardly, everything is being rebuilt. When this phase ends, you realize the life you once called normal was only a draft. The fourth sign is doors opening without force. Opportunities appear where you were not looking. People arrive with answers you did not request. Things begin to flow. This is not coincidence. It is favor. After a long season of waiting, everything starts to align. You realize God was never absent. He was working behind the scenes. What once required struggle now happens naturally, not because you pushed harder, but because you matured. Blessings do not come when you win, but when you understand, when you release control and trust without a map. And then comes the part few admit. Before blessing, God brings confusion. He dismantles false certainty, forces inner reflection, and heals old wounds. No promise lasts in an unprepared heart. That is why healing often comes before harvest. Forgiveness before honor, emptying before filling. Every tear becomes a seed. Every loss, hidden freedom. Every silence, unseen instruction. When everything feels out of place, breathe. Soil only produces after being turned. Eventually, faith changes shape. It stops being anxiety and becomes rest. You no longer need constant signs because you trust. This is the true miracle. Not what happens outside, but what is established within. When you reach this peace, blessings flow without resistance, and what God gives you begins to impact others. If today you sense alignment, even without full clarity, know this: the harvest has begun. God was never late. He was preparing you. What He is releasing now is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of a new mission. Your new season has already started.